Hi, hello, this is Oshuma. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Come in, sit down, feel safe, and let's get into it. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be talking about unpopular opinions. This is inspired by Choice TV. He actually is the one that started doing these videos and got them to be very popular on YouTube. And so these are just my personal unpopular opinions that people are probably going to, I don't know, have a problem with. But with that being said, let's get into it. I believe that reality TV has broken the fifth wall, not even the fourth, but the fifth wall, where Chrisean and Blueface are literally a live action walking reality TV show, and y'all just keep on feeding into it and feeding into it. You guys are the ones that fuel the machine, okay? All the times that you have logged in to watch, either Baddies East, to going onto her IG page, liking, commenting, to tabloids continuously just pumping out stories and these, social media news outlets. It's weird how Blueface navigates between the two of them, Chrisean and his baby mother Jaden. It's just very weird to me how he just flip-flops back and forth, like he can never make up his mind, and he just like uses them as pawns, which is very sad. But yeah, y'all give Chrisean and Blueface too much. To me, they're not that interesting. They're very much just selling themselves and their lives and feeding it to the public. And when the public gets too bored of the same storyline or gets too bored of them in particular, they're going to have to empty up the timeline, is all I'm saying. So the more and more that, like, any little thing that they do, no matter what Chrisean does or Blueface does, you guys are always there with a microscopic lens, just like grabbing onto everything. And so the more and more this happens, the more that they have to create a storyline. All of this, I won't be surprised if Blueface, Chrisean and Jaden sat in the same room and and concocted a storyline like even Love and Hip Hop would be jealous of. I'm just saying. An unpopular opinion I have is that Tory Lanez's career is not over. And there's a lot of people in hip hop that support Tory Lanez. I, for one, feel like when you willingly, brandish a pow and you use it against someone, whatever consequences that come to you is what you get, because you literally have to go through certain courses to even legally be able to own one. And he was already a convicted person with a history, so you also having the GUN was illegal. But we know that hip hop and rap has a very toxic atmosphere. It's one of those industries where it's like lines start to get blurry, where people engage in more felonious crimes. So I think that once he gets out of prison, he is going to have a career. Now, will it be to the extent where it could have been? I don't think so, but there's a lot of people who still listen to his music, a lot of people who still support him publicly, and who are willing to also make comments and statements in regards to the victims of the case, as opposed to looking at the situation from, okay, let me look at all the facts of the case, like, even the phone call from the jailhouse of him apologizing. If you didn't do nothing, why did you apologize for? But like I said, I really don't think this man's career is over. Watch, as soon as he comes out of prison, he is going to get a certain rollout. It's going to resurface all of this stuff back up again, and his name is going to be the media. Then there's going to be where he's gonna quote unquote say his side. This man's career is not over, and I think there's going to be another situation of Tory and Meg 2.0 a couple years down the line. I'm just saying. Family channels on YouTube are probably some of the most toxic channels on YouTube, especially the ones that have children, because basically what you're doing is every day when you wake up and you're making videos of your children and they're not actually, or have the ability to consent to you filming, or have enough cognizant level to understand the gravity of what it means to be sharing their lives day to day, and them having to grow up and then have to process that and deal with the BS of what they had to go through, and even being bullied when they do grow up because of the stuff that their parents decided to film. Yeah, I think that YouTube family channels, particularly the ones with kids, particularly minors, are some of the worst and vicious channels ever. Let's get into the fact that we've seen videos of moms forcing their kids to do things and say things, of kids crying. There was this one weird video of this blonde girl. I don't particularly know her name right now, but I will search for it, and I don't even want to share the video because that little boy was going through it to the point where his mom was having him fake cry, but she was coaching him through the fake cry to the point where he was so overwhelmed where he actually started crying for real. Y'all, like, be for real. Be for real. And you guys are willingly watching this every single day, day in and day out. Where is DCF? Where is Child Protective Services? What happens to child labor laws? And to me, YouTube channels that have families, especially families with kids, I don't think they should be on YouTube, and that's just my opinion. And you know, I do understand that there are some YouTubers that show their kids every now and then, and they basically just show their kids doing what it is that their kids want to do, as opposed to just having them, you know, their kids be the ones, you know, doing stuff and coaching them through and working. So those YouTubers where every once in a while they might show their kids because they're proud of their kids or their kids did something that they're proud of, that I understand. But it's the over exploitation of kids for me that is a problem. Doja Cat is a rapper, and she is indeed a good rapper. She has had a lot of pop songs, but when it comes to the way she raps and the lyricism in her raps and how she writes them, she is actually a good rapper. But I feel like the general public will never say that because one of her past on those chats, girl, and because also too she's attached her name to a specific person, and her attitude overall kind of rubs the general rap crowd off in a really bad way. So I think that the general GP will never consider her as an actual like rapper. But the thing is, the amount of time she has had hits on the Billboard and the amount of traction she's able to get, she will not be easily erased from rap history, but I don't think people are going to give her credit because of that, unfortunately. Speaking of female rappers, another unpopular opinion that I have is that there are a lot of female rappers that actually know how to rap and sing their arses off, okay, that are actually amazing lyricists who can put a great song together, who actually have some great music, but they're overlooked because of how they look. You know what I mean? In hip-hop, there is very much this aesthetic that a female rapper must fall under, and if they do not fall under that, then they get pushed out to the wayside. They're not giving much attention. They're not even looked at. Nobody looks their way. Or even if they, you know, start to get traction, after a while they start getting compared physically to the other female rappers that are in the game, and that really stifles them. And that is where you see a lot of these girls go on ahead and have surgery. And now I'm saying, like, I don't care when people go and have surgery. If you're healthy and your body can withstand it and you have the money to go on ahead and do it, then go ahead and do it. Listen, I don't care if that's your body. Like, if you've already taken the, you know, necessary precautions, go on ahead. But if you're doing it to please other people, and you know for a fact that there's something you probably shouldn't do, you have second thoughts about it, but it's more of like a peer pressure thing of you wanting to do it, then I think where it becomes a problem. And you see a lot of these girls go get their bodies done and look botched and look messed up, and that's because there is a pressure of looking a certain way when it comes to female rap. And back in the day, like back in the 90s, it wasn't necessarily like that. Like, we had people like Queen Latifah, we had people like Missy Elliott, we had people like Lauryn Hill. Like, they were sensual, they showed their, you know, sensuality, but it was done in a very much like, I'm a female rapper that happens to be sexy. It's kind of disheartening. It's very disheartening because to me, people like Lola Brooks are amazing, but because she doesn't fit the, you know, BBL body, overly, hyperly sexualized type of aesthetic, she gets to be, you know, she tends to get overlooked. Like, to me, Lola Brooks is hella cute. She's really pretty in my opinion, but you wouldn't expect, you know, like when you hear her voice and then you see her, you wouldn't expect that voice to be coming from her. So maybe that's one of the things too. There's girls like Flo Milli that I think should be way ahead. A lot of people call her bubblegum rap, but it's a different lane that hasn't really been explored fully in rap, and I think she's taken it and just ran with it and is doing it successfully. My next unpopular opinion is that Jay-Z is not ugly. It's just that a lot of you guys are colorists and see Afrocentric features as automatically ugly. And so when you look at Jay-Z and you don't see not one bit of any inkling of European aesthetic or feature to you, that's automatically deemed ugly, especially him being a darker skinned man. And let's not lie, now there are some people who will say that Jay-Z is ugly because of the fact of the whole cheating scandal with Beyonce, and you know the Beehive don't play about Beyonce. So I believe, in my opinion, I noticed that the ugly conversation started back up again right around the time Lemonade came out. And I'm not saying that, you know, it's quote unquote the album's fault, but I think the public feels some type of way about Jay-Z, and so the only thing that they can come at Jay-Z for is that. So they're going to use it every single time. And I honestly think too, and if Beyonce forgave Jay-Z, who is her husband, who she has kids with, I don't know why it's taking y'all forever to forgive that man in the public eye. She said, I'm sticking by his side. I'm not leaving my man. So it's like, why are you still holding that against him? It's kind of weird. It's, interesting to me. Who the hell cares anymore? Just move on. Let them live their lives. And you know what I mean? At this point, it's all noise to both Jay-Z and Beyonce, because look at the life they've been able to pin out for themselves, is all I'm saying. Streaming in TikTok is one of the worst things that could have happened in the music industry. Reason being is, back in the day, right, if an artist went platinum or they had a diamond record, that was purely based off of the sales that they had, right? So that means, the audience had to go out, purchase the music for it to be counts towards any type of plaques or certifications. Well, now what's occurring is, when they won that lawsuit, both streaming and pure sales became part of the overall accumulation of what will cause an artist to become either a platinum, gold, diamond, whatever, right? So what that caused is for a lot of people to start using gimmicks and things like that to get their music out there. Because if you're telling me that it doesn't matter if people buy my actual music or not, that is not going to be what determines if I get a hit or if I'm on the Billboard. It's more of like, who's listening to it. That means I don't have to worry about people particularly purchasing my music for me to make money, because I already know I'm not going to get much of that money back from my label in regards to to the amount of work that I put in and the amount of sales that are given to me. Because there's people that are in contracts where they may get 60%, 40%. There's a lot of people that touch their money when it comes to the actual songs, because there's royalties, there is publishings and housings and stuff like that. So they don't get to see the bulk of their money by the time it reaches their account as the artist. So what they said is, okay, so that means all I have to do is get enough traction in the public eye, get my music to be streamed enough times for me to be able to gain traction in the media. And once I gain traction in the media, that's when I can go on tour, because tours are where a lot of the artists make their money. Artists do not make money off of their music. They make money off of their tours. So because they make money off of their tours, what they have to do is get the audience to like them as a person, like them as a quote-unquote artist. So the music is really the billboard. Their music is a billboard that they use to promote themselves to companies that may want to have a deal with them, that may want to do an ad, a commercial, because these artists can get millions upon millions of dollars just to be in a commercial with a company. So they don't really use the music. They don't really do the whole album eras. They don't do eras anymore. What they do is they try to make very fast, microable music that they oversaturate in the market, so their name is continuously out in the public, and that basically creates this false sense of quote-unquote popularity based on their music. So they're using that to market themselves to companies and doing. I personally think instead of fighting for streams to go towards plaques and stuff like that, the stream should have been counted as a way to get more financial compensation from the label itself. Because what's happening now is that, yeah, those streams are being counted towards your plaques and your accolades, but you're not making any money from it still. So I think the best thing should have been to basically talk to the label. Okay, so my music is being streamed over and over and over again. I don't know the algorithms of how you calculate this. How much money should I be getting? Hire an entertainment lawyer. How much money should I have been getting from these streams? I think that might have been the better deal, as opposed to making streaming one of the biggest ways to get hits and accolades. That's just my opinion. It's the same thing with these streaming platforms. Like, imagine if 10 major artists told these streaming platforms, I want my music off of your platforms. These platforms make money off of artists too. All those memberships that people buy, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, all those monthly memberships, and music is one of those things that people listen to all the time, every day, all day. I love music. Like, I wake up to music, I go to sleep to music. And so either way, a lot of these artists could literally just take their whole catalog off of Spotify or off of whatever, create their own platform, and they would still be fine. And they'd be getting all of that membership money monthly from their individual fan bases. Like, there's a lot of power that these artists have that I don't think that they've realized, because as artists sometimes it's a very me type of situation. But I think, fighting for these platforms to give a percentage of the money to labels and artists that are on the streaming platforms is also would have been more beneficial. That's just my opinion. People that say that they do not like kids just to be quirky and make it part of their, personality are very weird and strange, and they can never be trusted. Because why? A lot of people, oh, well, they just cry a lot, they're very emotional. Like, you think that you weren't emotional? You weren't like this as a kid? You do know that children have to learn how to self-regulate and understand their emotions, right? And even adults don't know how to properly, understand their emotions and regulate their emotions. And so they're like, oh yeah, but they're sticky and nasty. They're kids. People need to take care of them. Like, they need help understanding how to do certain things. Like, people who genuinely do not like kids or use it as part of their personality to say that they don't like kids, I don't trust them. They're like, trust me, I have met people with this personality and who are like this, and it never fails every single time. Do not trust those people. Don't. You might think it's funny now. You might think it's something to laugh about. Do not. Trust me. Those people cannot be trusted. This one right here. So K-pop music is very predatorial, and K-pop fans are delusional. Here's why. Hear me out. So a lot of K-pop fans ignore these horrible contracts that their artists are in, to the point where they want to unalive themselves, to the point where after they get out of these bands, they don't own nothing. They don't own their name even. They don't own their image. They don't own anything other than the fact of, hey, I have bragging rights that I was once a K-pop artist. Now, I don't know if there has been any legal strides over the years, but K-pop is really one of those genres where artists suffer so much just for the entertainment of other people. It seems like a circus show. Like, I know this is probably wild to say, but there are these artists may literally be rehearsing for hours upon hours upon hours. There has been artists that have come out and spoken against their labels and shared their experiences of how horrible it is, the working conditions of them not having breaks, them not being able to see their family, them not being able to date, them not having a say over their image or what they look like. You know what I mean? And mind you, a lot of these K-pop artists have been trained since they were kids to become K-pop artists. So their whole life has been consumed by nothing but this. And so at the end of your career, or when you feel burnt out, to not even be able to profit off of it and not see the fruits of your labor, and for people to be listening to this stuff and knowing this and just still just pushing the machine forward is very weird to me. Now, there are certain K-pop songs that I have listened to. Butter by BTS was, good. But every time I listen to a K-pop song, that's literally the first thing that comes up into my mind. And I'm sure, there are other artists in different genres that have these type of contracts as well. But predominantly, you will see this in K-pop. And I don't know how people, settle with this fact as K-pop fans. That's just me.